watching CapriCast. I'm Nat, he's Matt, and let's get started.
All right, voting begins right now for the new intro on CapriCast. We've narrowed it down to two amazing intros that both took a very different approach.
Right, so to vote, all you have to do is leave a comment on this episode of CapriCast.com and tell us your favorite between Team Izzy or Team Chuck Norris. And give us up to 1 or 2 or 6 reasons why.
Very nice. Now, the previews for Imperfections of Memory were on the Facebook group, and yeah, we didn't watch them because they tend to give away really cool stuff, and in this case, it absolutely did.
Again, one of the coolest parts of the episode, possibly?
Yeah, Zoe in a Viper. Now, you note they didn't say Viper Mark anything.
Yes.
It's not a Viper Mark 7, it's not a Viper Mark 2, it's just a Viper, before they have marks. Awesome continuity porn.
It blew my mind when I saw that they were in a Viper.
And when they called it a Viper, I mean, it looked like a crazy jet of some kind, and I guess I could believe that it could go in space, because, I mean, Vipers can.
Exactly, but the interesting thing with this was that she had no piloting skills. You know, Philemon's just like, just tweak the skill set, make yourself a pilot.
Just no kung fu.
Exactly,
but apparently she can't.
Couldn't, and either she chooses not to, or...
I'm willing to bet she just can't.
Yeah, I think she just can't, because she's pure Avatar, and she has to treat that V-world like the real world.
Yeah, in the way that when you play Call of Duty, you can all of a sudden become an amazing sniper. She can't do that. This is her real life, essentially.
She has to learn to become a sniper.
Yeah, and as much as she can't pilot a plane, she certainly can have an absolutely flawless parachute landing onto a rocky outcropping. Wow.
Maybe Zoe was into extreme sports.
Maybe, just not quite Viper piloting. But on that rocky outcropping, we get some very interesting revelations. Zoe's date with Philemon totally backfires. She's obviously trying to convince him to take the digital machine into the analog world, but he misconstrues it and winds up thinking, oh, maybe there's something analog in the digital machine inside U-87, which, well, there is.
Mm-hmm. And since Virgis let Greystone know that his company never managed to make a working MCP in the first place, when Dr. Philo tells Daniel this theory, Greystone gets him the hell out of the lab because he knows that analog element has got to be Zoe.
Finally! Oh my god. On DVD, I'm sure this is probably going to feel like great pacing.
Yes. 7
hours of marathon Caprica watching, and boom, you get to see Zoe, and it all of a sudden starts to make sense from Greystone's perspective. But honestly, after 2 months in the real world, geez, it's about time.
Oh,
wow.
Speaking of pacing, we just found out that Amanda isn't just manic, she's insane.
Or at least she was something kind of like insane, because after she knocks off probably one of the most expensive drinks in the 12 worlds, she and Daniel have this really interesting conversation that shows the dynamic of the relationship.
Because when Daniel asks if he should be jealous, she says, I'm not sure.
And I love Daniel's intrigued expression as he's dropping that Kool-Aid. He's just, It's amazing, because this world, this marriage, there's some serious kink, and it just cracks me up.
And since everybody swings every way in the Galactiverse, I'm just waiting for the first Amanda-Clarice makeout.
Which I'm kind of surprised we didn't get at the dive bar while Clarice was accidentally spilling all of her monotheism all over Amanda.
I know, that was crazy, but here's the question. Is Amanda really crazy? She was at a hospital in Delphi, a name that has a lot to do with prophecy in Greek history.
And we know this is a universe where angels take the form of loved ones to give you messages and lead you.
She rocked. All of this has happened before, and all of it will happen again, like a champ.
Absolutely.
I was so excited when she said that.
So, maybe Clarice is right when she says that the mother of apotheosis is her channel to God. Poor Heracles gets sniped by the dirigible's fighter jet in New Crap City.
Oh man, I love that Joseph managed to crack that joke about New Crap and the gun. Obviously, Heracles did need a bigger gun, like a bazooka.
Yeah, and I love that the Goodyear blimp from Caprica City basically is twisted in New Crap City to be this war zeppelin. I just love it.
And the slightly too obvious CG effects in New Crap City are almost forgivable after Zoe's talk about things just not looking quite real in the V-world.
Yeah, like that cab that got smoked as soon as Herc and Joe came up from the subway.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a very good
Here's
effect.
the thing though, if Herc becomes a recurring character, it'll be great to see his confident New Crap self start to happen in his real life now that he can't go back to V-world.
Absolutely. Well, now he can't go back to New Crap City.
New Crap City.
Now, he's so meek and when he's stalking Peppers, but as soon as he's in New Crap City, he calls Adama Joe, like they've been buddies for years. He's actually kind of cool.
I actually love the way he fracked around with Joe about being able to fly.
Yeah, that was great.
It's like, okay, put your arms out. Ready?
Don't overcorrect. But, Joe has a point when he says a non-fantasy game just does kind of seem like no fun. I don't know about you. I would be playing the game where you can fly.
Yeah.
And, maybe Herc will be playing that game now that he is completely smoked in New Crab City.
But now we've met his replacement guide, Emmanuel.
Who I'm willing to bet is probably just some immensely fat dude who has a hot avatar in V-World. After all, this is not me. It's just my body vehicle.
Now what the frack was that about? A completely clean wall with one piece of graffiti that says that with a spray-painted face. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks a bit like Vergis and a bit like Baltar. It's hard to say, right? But it definitely looks like an adult male.
And this had better be important because Wayne Rose made that such an epic close-up as it goes in. It just ignoring Joe entirely as he walks past the frame. This has got to mean something.
It's epic or Wayne's fracking with us.
Next week's episode is Ghost in the Machine, possibly directed by B'Elanna Torres from Star Trek Voyager. IMDb's kind of off by a week on their director information, so we're not really sure.
Well, Tamara, yay, seems to have made herself quite at home in her avatar by now, since she's pretty much a V-World god at this point.
Now, Adama goes mobster with a pretty pimp white fedora, and somehow he busts in on some flappers in drag.
Oh my gosh, and sci-fi.com says Daniel gets risky around the U-87, trying to get Zoe to show herself, which seems to involve setting fire to his robot?
Now, judging by the name of the episode, it looks like both fathers are getting closer to the ghosts of their daughters in the machines. And hopefully we'll have a great moment when they both find them, and it'll be cross-edited, and it'll be awesome, but here's hoping.
Now, this week's fun on CapriCast.com isn't over, so don't cry, since there's 2 wicked intros for you to watch right now and help us decide on how our show will look forever.
So let the voting begin!
See you next week!
It's all going to change, and everyone will know it soon.
Welcome back.